Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible stories out there, how a new human life actually gets made. It's an absolutely astonishing journey.
I mean, think about it. How does a single cell become a person? It's a huge question, right? Well, the answer starts with this epic journey, an insane race against all odds. And it all begins with two totally different, but absolutely essential blueprints.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to start with the basics. Let's look at the fundamental infrastructure. The two reproductive systems that make this whole thing happen. So you've got two very different approaches here. On one hand, you have the male system, which is basically a high-volume factory. Its job to produce and deliver millions of sperm. But then you have the female system, which is way more specialized. It's designed to produce just one single egg, receive the sperm, and then, get this, nurture a new life for 9 whole months. It's a classic case of quantity versus quality, right? Two completely different strategies, but they're both aiming for the exact same incredible outcome.
And check this out. This is where it gets really precise. That sperm production factory in the male system, it has to be kept just a couple of degrees cooler than the rest of the body. Just a tiny bit warmer, and poof, the sperm wouldn't even be viable. It's just an amazing piece of biological engineering, isn't it? A tiny little temperature change makes all the difference in the world.
All right, so we've got the systems. Now let's get into how they actually create the key players in our story, the messengers of life, the sperm and the egg.
The whole process has a fancy name. It's called gametogenesis, but really it's just the way the body makes these special sex cells. And what's so special about them? Well, they only carry half the normal amount of genetic information. And why only half? You guessed it, so they can pair up with another half to create a brand new, totally complete genetic blueprint for a new person.
Okay, so for guys, this process is called spermatogenesis, and you can just think of it as a non-stop assembly line. It starts up at puberty, and it is just incredibly efficient. One single cell divides a couple of times, and bam, you've got 4 mature sperm. And this factory, it runs 24/7, just churning out millions upon millions of these things every single day.
But for females, the story, called oogenesis, is completely different. It's not a factory at all. Get this. All the eggs a woman will ever have are already there when she's born, just kind of waiting in a paused state. Then, starting at puberty, one of these is chosen each cycle to mature. But, and this is a big but, it only finishes its development if it actually gets fertilized. So it's all about conservation and careful selection, not just cranking them out.
So, our two messengers are ready to go. And now, the stage is set for what is, honestly, the most dramatic part of this entire story. It's a race against unbelievable odds, where one single moment of connection is about to change everything.
Okay, so millions of sperm start this journey, but wow, is it a tough one. We're talking a hostile, acidic environment, all sorts of physical barriers. It's a marathon swim. Sure, uterine contractions give them a bit of a push, but of the millions that start out, only a few thousand of the absolute strongest and fastest even make it to the final stretch.
And even for the few that make it that far, it's not over. There's one final test. It's called capacitation. You can think of it like a final power-up. It's a process that gets the head of the sperm ready for action, exposing the special enzymes it needs to get through the egg's protective layers. No capacitation, no fertilization. Simple as that. So here it is, the big moment. After that insane journey and the final power-up, one single sperm finally makes it. It releases its enzymes, gets through the egg's defenses, and fuses with it. And the second it gets inside, the egg puts up a force field, basically. It instantly changes its surface to block every other sperm out. That's it. We have a winner, and a new life has officially begun.
And that fusion, it kicks off this incredible, breathtaking chain reaction of development. The two sets of genes, one from the sperm, one from the egg, combine. And just like that, you have a single cell called a zygote. It's the very first, completely unique blueprint for a brand new person.
And things start moving fast. I mean, really fast. Within 24 hours, that one cell splits into 2, then 4, then 8. It just keeps dividing as it travels down the fallopian tube. By day 4, it's a little solid ball of cells. And by the end of that first week, it's changed into a hollow ball, now called a blastocyst, and it's arrived at its destination, ready to settle in.
Now, for the next really crucial step, making a connection. The blastocyst literally burrows into the soft, nutrient-rich lining of the uterine wall. This process is called implantation, and it's what creates that vital link between the mother and the embryo. This is the foundation, the support system for everything that's about to happen over the next 9 months.
All right, the connection is secure.
And with that, the 40-week marathon of gestation kicks off. This is the main event, folks. This is the period of incredible transformation where that tiny ball of cells is going to build itself into a complete, fully formed human being.
So, this whole 9-month project is broken down into 3 stages, or trimesters. In the first trimester, all the foundational stuff gets built. The heart forms and starts beating, and the blueprints for all the major organs are laid out. Then, in the second trimester, it's all about refining the details, and the fetus gets active enough for those first little movements to be felt. And the third trimester? That's all about packing on the pounds and major growth, especially for the brain, getting everything ready for the big debut into the world.
40 weeks. Just think about that. That's all it takes, on average, for this unbelievably complex process to play out. To go from one single cell to the trillions of specialized cells that make up a brand new human ready to take their first breath. And this whole incredible journey comes to a head with parturition, or as we all know it, childbirth. And you want to know what's really amazing? The final go signal comes from the baby. The fully developed fetus sends out signals that kick off this whole hormonal chain reaction, releasing oxytocin. And that's the stuff that powers the strong uterine contractions to bring that new life out into the world. So, when you really think about it, when you trace this whole thing backwards, from the moment of birth, back to that first tiny cell splitting in two, all the way back to that one single sperm winning a race against millions, what you're seeing is a story of pure persistence. It's about precision and an absolutely incredible resilience. It's a microscopic journey that is, quite simply, the story of how every single one of us began.